I'm sorry to bother you, but Second Councillor Rano asked me to come find you. He said it's quite urgent. All he wanted me to do is track you down and send you to him. Look, this is important. Even more important than wiping out the Ash Spawn. Please, go speak to the Second Councillor as soon as possible.
Why you'd leave your home like...
Welcome to the mine's open, people are buying drinks, and I'm making money again. Just like old times. Perfect. All that's left now is to go ahead and wait for the patrons to come in. As promised, here's a little something for yourself. How do you think? It's a blessing. I've got regular paying customers again. Thirsty workers at the end of the day, and more coin than I can count. The Redoran Guard have spotted a pack of werewolves in the mountains. The hunters up on Frostmoon Crag might know more. Nothing specific, but I'm hearing rumblings of assassins living amongst us. I think they intend to target Councillor Morvain, but I can't be certain. Haven't heard anything lately, but check back with me. You never know. If you've got gold on your hands, you might talk to Rallis up at Colbjorn Barrow. I've heard he wants to excavate the place. Haven't heard anything lately, but check back. Nothing specific, but I'm hearing rumblings of assassins living amongst us. I think they intend to target Councillor Morvain, but I can't be certain.
There's nothing beyond the bulwark, except wild Nords and ash wastes.
Thank you for coming. After everything you've already done for Ravenrock, I hate to ask for more, but I can't risk Councillor Morvain being killed. The Ulan family of House Lalu, a rival great house, has placed a death mark on the Councillor's head. It's a private matter. Let's just say they seek revenge for the execution of one of their own, ordered by Councillor Morvain himself. The problem is I don't have any solid proof that anyone from House Lalu is hidden among us. Only my suspicions. It may be justified, but it certainly isn't appreciated. Councillor Morvain simply feels that I'm being paranoid. I'm afraid that one day I'll awaken and discover him dead. I don't want it to come to that. I do. I've received some information from my sources that there could be elements of Ulan's house, House Lalu, already in Ravenrock. Ravenrock is a small settlement, so it's hard to accomplish anything in secret. If any of them is from House Lalu, I wouldn't be able to make a move without them knowing. I had a feeling you'd be willing to listen to me. I need you to start out by being my eyes and ears, Search Raven Rock. See if you can root out these traitors. The best place to start would be Geldis Sadri, over at the Retching Netch Corner Club. If he provides you any leads, check them out before bringing them to my attention. Can't afford to make any mistakes. Traitors. The lot of them. Their collaboration with the Empire may have given them unrivaled political and economic strength, but their hearts weren't with the Dunmer people. Lalu deserved every bit of hatred they received once the Empire released its grasp on Morrowind. Having past ties to the Empire immediately turned them into the scapegoat for the Dunmer people's suffering. They had welcomed the Empire with open arms and benefited from it. When everything was said and done, they were no longer recognized as a great house and were dismissed from the council. You might think it's all perfume and roses now that the mine's open. But all I see is a new security problem on our hands. Making sure those shipments of ebony make it safely from the mine to the shipping docks is my new order of the day. And with Solstheim crawling with reavers and Azora knows what else, I can't risk any attacks on Raven Rock. During the Oblivion Crisis, gates to the Plane of Oblivion opened all over Morrowind. The Empire pulled most of its forces out of Morrowind to deal with the gates in their own homeland, leaving us virtually defenseless. We had no standing army at the time, just uncoordinated pockets of resistance. House Redoran took charge and was slowly able to build an army. It took years, but it became a force to be reckoned with. When the Argonians invaded years later, House Redoran's army was able to prevent them from sweeping across all of Morrowind. It would be fair to say that House Redoran literally saved the Dunmer people from destruction. I maintain a few contacts in other Dunmer settlements across Tamriel. Most hail from House Redoran, but there are a few from other houses. Most of my contacts live leagues away from Solstheim. Sending the occasional message back and forth is all we can manage, and sometimes takes months or more to arrive. However, any information we can glean in times like this, I consider vital to House Redoran's survival. Don't worry. You can trust Geldis. He's been with us for a long time.
If you're looking for passage to Garden,
Welcome to the Retching Netch Corner. The mine's open, people are buying drinks, and I'm making... Well, well, Adril's got himself a spy, does he? Azura knows he needs all the help he can get. He's been chasing the Ulins for years now. No, I just think he's going about this the wrong way. Actually, I do. If you want to catch those slippery slaughterfish, you need to let them come to you. There's an Ulin ancestral tomb near the temple. Someone's been leaving ash yam offerings on the altar inside. If you were to wait inside for whomever that is, I'm betting they'll have some of the answers you're looking for. What makes you think I haven't? Anytime Adril and the Redoran Guard made a move, the Ulins must have been one step ahead and didn't show up. You can thank me if it works. Until then, I'd head to the tomb and wait until your visitor shows up. Back in '95, Vila Ulin came to Raven Rock with a plan to take over our town. The Fetcher thought he could stir up the locals and use them against the Redoran Guard, and then murder Consular Morvain when we weren't looking. He arrived alone, but spread enough coin around to start changing people's minds. Half the bloody town joined his side. Can you believe that? He underestimated the Redoran Guard. They were organized and brought a swift end to the coup. Vila tried to run, but he was caught by Captain Veleth himself. Vila Ulan was executed a short time later, and his remains placed in the Ulan ancestral tomb. How do you think? It's a blessing. I've got regular paying customers again. Thirsty workers at the end of the day, and more coin than I can count. When a Dunmer is laid to rest, the body is burned and returned to the ashen soil. Since the ash yam is born of the very same soil, it represents rebirth and renewal, the fact that life ends and begins anew. Come back if you're feeling thirsty. I'll set you up right.
You've brought Ravenrock back from the brink, traveler. I don't know how to thank you. Excuse me. I didn't realize there was anyone else here. I presume the same thing you're doing, leaving an offering for the departed. Forgive my surprise. It's just that I wouldn't expect that sort of behavior from someone who isn't Dunmer. Since there aren't any Ulans left on this island, I've taken it upon myself to leave the traditional offering in their stead. What do you mean? I thought I was clear. I'm simply honoring a fellow departed Dunmer. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'd like to meditate a bit. Please, I don't wish to be disturbed while I'm meditating.
They serve the best sujama I've ever tasted over the French mesh. Worth every
I hope Gelders proved useful. You tell us who. Are you sure? So Gelders' plan worked, eh? Every time we tried it, no one would ever show up. If Telesu's involved in any sort of plot to harm Councillor Morvain, I'm going to need hard evidence to prove it. I'm not kicking down anyone's door until I have solid evidence in hand.
Can't get blood from a stone.
If you're wrong about Telesu, things would quickly go downhill around here, and the real culprits might slip away. Can't afford for that to happen. If you have evidence and it places your life in peril, I would expect you to do whatever you must to keep yourself alive. Here, this key should open the front door of the manor in case they've locked it. Good luck.
I don't know what you're playing at, lover, but something about you just doesn't have...
Villa Ulen wasn't the first Ulen to live in Ravenrock. His father, Valen Ulen, was one of the first Dunmer to settle here. Unlike his son, Villa, Valen was a good man. He contributed to the community and was quite respected. When Valen died, his family provided the funds to construct the tomb. The Ulen family being a part of House Lalu didn't matter. It's Dunmer's tradition for the ashes of the deceased to be placed in an ancestral tomb. Valen Ulen and his son's remains were both laid to rest there because that's what he'd requested. Telesu is wife to the family patriarch Vendor. They have a single child, a daughter named Miriam. They arrived here 10 years ago and have been nothing but a benefit to Ravenrock ever since. They are quite wealthy and they've been quite generous by sharing their fortune with the community. They've contributed coin, food, supplies, even helped repair a few of the buildings in town with their own hands. People have mentioned it's a bit odd about how close in age Mary appears to be to her father, but that's hardly a cause for alarm. Just make sure you find solid evidence. If I accuse them without it, I'll be the laughing stock of the colony. Be careful. If the Severans have betrayed us, then they'll be well armed.
Stop hiding, coward.
Someone
I'll make it
in
quick.
here with us.
For House Lalu. For Villa Ulen. It's not my time.
Have its revenge.
Did you find any evidence at Severin Manor yet? Then we finally have them. All that remains now is chasing them down and bringing them to justice. Good. I'm going to send 2 of the best Reruran Guard we have to take them down. On to you to assist them any way you can. Even one of these House Lalu's sweet escapes, they won't just be after Councillor Morvay. You've proven devastating to their plans, and they'd stop at nothing to hunt you down. It's time to take the fight to them and finish this. See that you do. Can't afford to let these traitors slip away. Ashbarrow Citadel has been abandoned for a long time. Be ready for it.
Сделайте же что-нибудь!
They said it, but they were wrong. There's nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about at all. Touch the sky like a dragon. They said it couldn't be done. They said it, but they were wrong. Oh dear! I'm flying! I'm really flying! What? Ah!
You picked a bad time to get lost, friend. Что? Не получается? Это пустяк. Проклятие! Пощады!
Что это было? Все-таки показалось. Что это было?
First you... I join you in death.
That's it?
Well, what happened? Were you able to track down Vendel? Then, it's finally over. What of the Redoran Guard I sent to assist you? Damn it. I was hoping to protect our people by sending them, not end up with casualties. To think that Vendel would stoop so low as to hire those fetchers. I'm glad you killed him. Wonderful. Simply wonderful. Councillor Morvain will be quite pleased when he hears about this. Follow me, and I'll take you to the Councillor so you can speak to him yourself.
Plenty of work in the mine if you're looking.
Надеюсь, ты не собираешься устраивать неприятности. Чем могу тебе помочь?
Excuse me, Councillor Morvain. I have some wonderful news.
Adriel, I haven't seen a smile on your face like that in a long time.
This visitor has single-handedly dealt with a threat that could have ended your life. Vendel, Telesue, and Miri Severin weren't who they appeared to be. I'm afraid they were here to avenge Villa Ulen's death.
Vendel? But he's done so much for Raven Rock. How could this be possible?
They did it to gain our confidence, Counselor. They had us all fooled. I should have been more vigilant. I'm sorry.
Don't say that. It's not your fault, old friend. And you, step forward. What you've done for me, for all of Raven Rock, goes far beyond what I would have expected from a traveler to our town. For this, you have my deepest gratitude. Now, I'm certain Adril was prepared to reward you appropriately for everything you've done. However, since a bit of coin hardly seems like enough, I've decided to provide something more substantial. Since the Severin family, or whoever they were, turned out to be criminals, their property is now forfeit. As Counselor, I hereby award you Severin Manor, and everything contained within. You've earned your citizenship here, and I hope you'll consider staying with us as a member of our community.